What is going on, guys? Mobile Care News here, and I'm making this video to basically compare coverage, and this is the official map coverage for the iPhone and Android. So what you can do is, if you want to use this app that I'm using right here, you could basically just go to the App Store / Play Store and look up coverage map, and it should look something like this right here. So you can see that's what it looks like. And now we're going to go back and click on it. So this is Verizon's coverage. So I want to talk about Verizon's coverage. Verizon's coverage, is pretty good. It's good. It's the best. It's the best in the whole all 50 states of the United States. We do have some coverage gap here though. And I'm going to point out to every kid that this is every carrier what's going on with the problem here. So my guess is the reason this whole area is not fully covered or good enough covered, as you can see, Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, right here, Indiana. The reason these states are not good with coverage, and this is what my own personal opinion, I believe, is because they have more coverage opportunity, more towers. It's just the problem with that is they have to shut down all the 3G towers that are literally all covered here. Now, if I keep scrolling, it may not seem like a lot of towers. Well, it is kind of a lot, but I do believe once these towers are shut down and converted to LTE / 5G, this whole coverage area right here will be better covered. And even though Verizon still lacks coverage in these kind of state areas, after this happens, I'm pretty sure Verizon will want to completely cover that up, so that people don't have to deal with no coverage being in their state, because if you pay what, $70 to $90 a month for a very expensive service, you're gonna want to at least get coverage in this area, right? Don't get me wrong on that. So that's what Verizon needs to do. Verizon also needs to deploy C-band. They also need to get more 5G. Now, this 5G is a start. It's honestly building up. Months ago, I didn't really see this line here. As you can see, this line right here. This line was never here, but they are improving it. So I will give them props. What they need to do is add more CBRS. They need to add more equipment to current LTE towers to support more bandwidth. They need more bandwidth, especially, and they need C-band. So they definitely need to deploy that. And then after that, they need to shut down their last remaining 3G towers. They already shut down 2G towers, so those 2G towers are already converted to LTE. They now need to shut down 3G towers, which is going to happen in December of next year. And hopefully all these 3G towers can be converted, and that means they'll have more extended coverage because they have a lot of 3G towers. And hopefully they cover this range too. My area, California, is not too bad. Definitely needs to be worked on. There's a lot of good coverage in this area, by where I live. This coverage, like I said, once 3G towers are completely removed, they can focus on this area of California and get more LTE and 5G towers. And they still have a couple gaps, and I know Verizon doesn't really put towers in forest areas, although I wish they did, honestly. I wish they did put more, and I'm sure they will in the long run. But if you scroll out of here, okay, so that's basically what Verizon needs to do with their coverage. Now we're going to switch it to T-Mobile, and I'll give them my own personal review on that. So we're going to keep finding T-Mobile here. Let's see here. Okay, I found T-Mobile right here already. So we found T-Mobile. So we're going to go in here. Going to apply it. Now let's take a look at T-Mobile's coverage. Okay. So compared to T-Mobile, T-Mobile has a lot, and I mean a lot of 5G. So it is true. T-Mobile is the leader in 5G. They did start it in 2019 late. They turned 5G on, and they've actually and what T-Mobile basically did is they knew they didn't have the best coverage. They knew they didn't do so well back then. So what they basically did is they invested thousands of dollars into their 5G network, and they're doing pretty good so far. They have a lot. However, though, I will say they do lack a lot of coverage on all these other areas compared to what Verizon has. Now, don't get me wrong. They're still they're already merged with Sprint. Although I do believe they need to expand their coverage even more, because this is it's not bad. It's basically 50-50. You got 50% of the U.S. covered, or more like 49%, in my personal opinion. It's just my 2 cents. They need to expand their coverage more, because all carriers are a billion dollar company, and with this kind of improvement and achievement, don't get me wrong, I like the Sprint merger. Sprint will definitely help them out with 2.5 gigahertz of spectrum, but this needs to be improved. I'm not saying it's the worst. It just needs to be more improved. Needs to be better adjusted, because I know they're working with ultra capacity, but the problem with Verizon, in my own personal opinion, is yes, they're focused on 5G, but they need to focus more on LTE, especially in these areas, because what I'm gonna guess this is a town, right? Yeah, this is University of Montana right here. And their coverage is not bad here. They have a good 5G, good LTE, but they need to expand more. They really need to get more coverage into their areas. Definitely need more coverage, because this is honestly not enough. They need to definitely expand more on their coverage, because this is honestly kind of lacking, in my opinion. They need to do more and invest more in their LTE. And what T-Mobile needs to do is they need to go back to all their LTE towers, and they need to basically improve backhaul, get better cell sites, get better small cells, improve the service, honestly, because if I lived in this half area, if I lived in Salt Lake City or Wyoming, or even Colorado or Nebraska, I would not want T-Mobile as my service in this area, because I'm not saying I would get dropped service. I'm saying it wouldn't be as strong or powerful, and I really like good service. Hopefully they can improve more, their towers, upgrade their old equipment from LTE to new LTE equipment, and honestly just improve the service, in my own personal opinion, because you have a lot of 5G, yes, I'll give you props for that, but improve your LTE more in this area, please, T-Mobile, because in the long run, in about 5 years, if this area is barely being worked on, or like I said, if this area is barely being worked on, even though all your 3G towers are turned off, if this area is not improved slightly by 5 years, you're gonna have a problem. And it's not honestly going to look good for you and your consumers. They're going to want to go somewhere else with better coverage. I hate to say that, but it's honestly the truth. T-Mobile needs to get their act together. So that's T-Mobile's coverage. We're going to now switch to AT&T's coverage. Excuse me. A little tired today. But now we're going to go to AT&T's coverage. Now, I can honestly understand why LTE is the second greatest coverage to Verizon. They have pretty good coverage here, slightly better than T-Mobile's, because AT&T because now with the whole Discover, Warner Brother, they've been doing a lot of mergers and a lot of deals lately. They have a lot of cash flow and money. So, but also I do believe AT&T can honestly improve their area, especially here in Nevada. Definitely needs to be worked on. They have a lot of 3G towers. Luckily, they will be turning off their 3G towers in February, I believe, or January of next year, 2022. So best believe once they turn off all these 3G towers, all that area will be converted to LTE/5G. And on top of that, they're gonna have more. They're gonna have more fiber. They're going to have more cell sites to work with. AT&T is on a good roll. Now, with AT&T stock, I'm not saying it's a bad stock, but it's just good to hold for dividends so they can pay you out. But I do believe AT&T definitely needs to be work on their service more. Their service here is honestly good. Good here. As you can see here, they're improving their 5G, so I like what they're doing, but they definitely need to cover up this part of LTE, because they're the second biggest carrier, and they're the fastest carrier. So they have a lot of 3G sites, so I don't really blame them for that, because they won't be turning it off till next year. So once they turn all these off, and all this area is covered with LTEs or 5G, AT&T is going to go off to a good start. AT&T has been doing pretty good lately. I do believe in the next 5 years, this whole area will be covered with LTE/5G. And it should be interesting how they play out. They are the fastest carrier. I just honestly hope AT&T works more on network management, because they have millions of customers, and just because you have a truly unlimited data plan doesn't mean the tower can actually hold off that network congestion. So they really need to work on network management. They have been working on network management for a couple of years now. They've been improving that, but they need to keep fixing up the towers, tweaking up things a bit. They need to keep improving the overall equipment, making sure towers up to date. It can handle massive amounts of data usage, because the last thing I want is when I get AT&T and start testing it, the last thing I want is facing congestion, even though I have unlimited data plan. So this is the review for AT&T. But let me know what you guys think about these. What do you guys think about these coverages? Do you guys think Verizon needs to work more on their service? How do you guys think about T-Mobile's coverage? I'm very curious to know what you guys think about this. What do you guys think about AT&T? Do you think AT&T can definitely get their act together? I'm very curious to know what you guys think. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.